Yeah. So anyway, on to our last topic of the live stream. A bit of movie news. No plans for an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. So, an article on IGN by Joe Scribbles. Ewan McGregor says there were going to be no plans for an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie starring him. Ewan McGregor has once again said that he'd like to return to the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, but says he knows of no plans to make a spin-off film starring the character, despite earlier reports. Speaking on The View, the actor said, "I would totally do it, of course. There's no plans as such to do it, as far as I know." Reports earlier this year suggested Obi-Wan movie was in the works, set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, with Obi-Wan in exile on Tatooine. That could make Obi-Wan significantly older than McGregor, which could account for why McGregor's heard nothing. McGregor himself suggested that the point in the series of storyline would be a good place for an Obi-Wan film, and suggested that perhaps another actor could take the role to the account for the time difference. He said, "There must be a good story to tell, as they're doing spin-offs. There's likely to be a good Obi-Wan between me and Alec Guinness in that time." So, I think if Disney did have an idea for an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, like there's been early reports that since their not so good return on the Han Solo movie, that they've decided to pull all plans for a spin-off Star Wars and just keep with the episodes. So obviously, again with the Red Dead and the Fallout situation, guys, I want to get your opinion on with Disney and Star Wars, and do you enjoy the new movies compared to the previously? And do you actually enjoy the previous films? Ed, again, over to you on this one to tie off.
So I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I adore the Star Wars franchise. I grew up with the prequels, which means I'm able to tolerate them. They're not good movies. They have bits that are redeemable, and I enjoy them. You know, I can enjoy them for what they are, which is hot garbage. I enjoy the original trilogy, obviously being brilliant films. I adored The Force Awakens, and I kind of don't have an opinion on The Last Jedi. I've seen it multiple times now. I saw it 3 times in the cinema, and it's got some really questionable moments, but it's, you know, it's generally a fairly all right movie. I think the third one will kind of make it all make a bit more sense. Yeah. That's what I'd like to think, because at the moment, the way it sits is kind of unusual. And whereas with episode 5, that could stand alone as its own movie, whereas this one kind of can, kind of can't. As regarding these anthology films, I hate them. I've never enjoyed them. I'm obviously happy to see more Star Wars, but I think they keep picking really boring things. Rogue One was this really drawn-out spectacle with, again, some really cool moments, but really forgettable, uncharacterized characters. A plot that really, you know what's going to happen at the end. It's like playing Halo Reach. It starts with a swelling shot of, like, a guy with a bullet hole in his head. You know what's going to happen.
You've already told you that, like, you already know the big reveal, Salding.
Yeah, so I didn't really understand it. It's super forgettable, as Rusty S18 has just said in the chat. It's by no means a shitty movie. Sorry for the swear there. But it's by no means completely dreadful. But it's not a very exciting movie. I haven't bothered with the Han Solo movie because you don't need one, and therefore I don't want to support one. I've heard it's got loads of problems. I've heard it's all right from some people saying it's not as bad as I thought it would be, but that's not good enough for me. Make a good Star Wars movie. So I don't care that they're not making a new Obi-Wan movie. What's he going to be doing? He's in exile on a desert planet.
Listen, sand gets everywhere. Okay, you know.
I mean, it really does. It's coarse, it's rough, but I don't think we need one. All the exciting stuff that happened with Obi-Wan Kenobi's character is discussed in Rebels. You see him take on Darth Maul again, and it's really cool. Leave that to Rebels. Rebels does a good job with telling extra canon stuff. Focus on the episodes. Keep those good. Stop trying to expand the lore by oversaturating it. On the other hand, it would be cool to see, you know, Ewan McGregor reprise the role, and I'll be interested to see what they did with it if they did make a movie. But again, the problem with these is we just don't need them, and I don't want them. Go away. So that's how I feel about the anthology movies. Adore the mainline movies. Wasn't too hot on Last Jedi, but I don't hate it as much as other people. Don't want the anthology movies.
Luke, what's
TLDR.
your opinion on the Star Wars films and Disney's current situation with them?
Oh, we
Luke,
can't hear you.
Luke, I think you
We've
muted.
lost you, Luke.
Sorry.
You're right.
Yeah, so I like movies for the journey they take you on. I'm not really too fussed if I know the end. Like, with Rogue One, you know what's happening. I just like I like to just let it take me where it wants me to go and follow the ride, if you know what I mean. So,
Fair enough, yeah.
and you get to sort of feel what those people were feeling, when that was happening to them, because it's not good what happened to Rogue One. And obviously, I'm not gonna go into the new 3 that everyone hates, because obviously everyone hates them because they're not the older 3.
Yeah.
I grew up with the older ones. I get muddled up with the numbers and stuff because I'm stupid. But basically, I watched those when I was really young, and I just watched one of them over and over again. The one with the Rancor in it.
Return of the
Little
Jedi.
Flights of the Rancor. Thank you. Just constantly. So I thought that was the only one for a long time. But yeah, and also with the Last Jedi, the most recent one, I actually fell asleep at the most important part when Rey and someone else have a little fight. It's really important, obviously.
That's the best bit.
Yeah, exactly. The bit, the whole
moments in the movie.
Yeah, I'm aware. I was like, what? Wait, what? That happened? What? I was like, I was there with someone. They told me that happened, and I missed it. So obviously I watched it again. But yeah, I just like the journey they take. I love just being put in that universe and being part of.
Let it
Like being able to sit back and watch history happen. Just like, oh, cool. Like
happened
you
a
go
long
back
time
in
ago.
time. Yeah,
In
exactly.
a galaxy
Far
very far away.
away. Yeah, exactly. So
James, what's
that's my
your take on Star Wars? And obviously with Obi-Wan Kenobi not getting a movie.
Yeah,
couldn't care
I'm
less if
kind
everyone
of
gets.
detached from Star Wars. I like it, and I'll watch it if it's on. I've watched them all at least once, but it's not something that I've been fanatical about. It's nothing that holds a place in my heart or anything like that. Like, I'm not that fussed. I like them, but I've never followed them, so I've
Who's
not
this
seen
trick?
any of the new ones. And I don't know. I feel that it's probably not a good idea to do it because it already feels like they've stretched it out too much as it is.
Yeah,
Then trying to pull out stories that have already stretched out stories isn't going to work.
I think
Make
like,
new ones entirely.
I think one of the main problems. I think I'm guessing which could have been a problem with the Han Solo film. I saw the Han Solo film. I personally enjoyed it more over The Last Jedi. I liked how they took a different approach with The Last Jedi. It wasn't the traditional sort of ebb and flow of what Star Wars films usually go in, and I can appreciate that. It wasn't my favourite. I enjoyed it. I thought the ending, like you said, when you fell asleep, Luke, was probably the best bit.
Yeah.
There is certain
Thanks for reminding me.
there's certain plot holes in it which are a bit like,
Yeah.
when they're doing this like chasing in Last Jedi of the ships and stuff, and it's like, well, can't they just like hyperspace it out and then maybe come back in, or get ahead of them, and then.
Well, that's the thing, is the latest film suddenly throws up loads of questions that never happened in the Star Wars universe, like the concept of fuel or effective ranges of cannons against shields. And whilst that sounds really nitpicky, they're really core parts of the story and why everything happens the way it happens.
Yeah.
And why Rey and what's her name, Rose, get sent off to some casino specifically. It's all so convoluted. Like, I enjoyed the film. If you said, did you like it? I'd go, yeah. But it's got so many problems with it, on which most of the other ones just don't have. I mean, you can pick them apart in a lot of ways.
I think that's the problem. I think with everybody on the internet,
8,
we're all critics, aren't we now? And so it's like we can literally go to the film and go, right, what am I not going to like about this one? And be like,
very true.
there with the notepad.
Whereas there are loads of moments to praise. There are loads of bits that if you were following the storyline, admittedly, it is kind of fan bases that have ruined it for themselves. So with things like Film Theory or channels like Emergency Awesome or Stupendous Wave, these people who are always pumping out Star Wars content and theories and leaked information and stuff, when all of that stuff builds up your hype and expectations and none of it becomes true. I remember hearing from a friend who said that his uncle was one of the writers for Star Wars, and that they said something along the lines of, oh yeah, it's going to be Luke is Rey's father. And it's like, right, okay. Well, now that isn't the case. So spoilers. But
What?
think,
Just
like-
sleep through that as well.
I personally, I like The Force Awakens. I thought it was such a strong start.
I
for Disney.
loved that movie.
And a lot of people criticize it, saying, "Oh, it was just New Hope remashed again."
Yeah, of course it was.
Care.
You need to tread familiar ground with a new concept. It's like
Exactly.
the new Pokemon games. Tread familiar ground with a new concept and do it well, and everyone's going to love it. And everyone did love it. It was a fun movie, directed and shot well, with great thought put into it, with great originality, mostly, obviously, aside from the natural derivative quality of it. But stop shitting on Force Awakens. It was really good, and I liked it.
thoroughly
Everyone's
enjoyed
shut
it.
up about it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the Han Solo film as well because it was different enough for me.
Fun.
Yes, it was entertaining. And
Yeah, I didn't see the Han Solo one. Do you get
I
to
need to
see
see it, but I
who
boycotted
shoots
it.
first?
Shut up.
we won't go into. There is actually a scene to do with that, but we won't go into it. But it isn't done to a point where it's cheesy either. That's the thing. That's what I liked about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was done
Okay,
at a
fair.
point where. Yeah. Anyway, someone's talking, someone gets shot, and you're like, ha ha ha! There you go. There we go. But it's kind of, and the actual director, I believe, turned around and said, actually, in how he's done the story, he did it that Han did actually shoot first. He ignores that in his eyes. But it was fun. It was entertaining, and I kind of feel bad because obviously they were going to do the trilogy on Han Solo. And to be honest, I want to hear and see more stories about Chewie and Han when they're like doing smuggling and having to deal with bounty hunters and shit like that. Because that was cool.
There's a throwaway line in episode 5 where Leia and Han are having an argument, and she says something like, "You just turn up out of thin air," and Han says something along the lines of, "Yeah, well, that bounty hunter back on that planet really sorted that out for us." And I'm like, I want to see that. We're currently watching you talk in a snow base.
I want a TV
Let me
series
see
based
the
on that.
bounty hunter fight. Exactly. That sounds awesome. Give me a Netflix series of Star Wars stuff, and I'll watch that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's a way better way of doing it than anthology movies. Leave movies to these chapters of the overall Skywalker story, and then tell a nuanced story where you can fit it over a grander scale, like they do with Rebels, and make a Netflix series or an absent series,
I think it gains
or
the
a
characters a
Disney
lot more
series
and
because they're
flush them out.
starting their own streaming platform. So that's
Segue.
maybe that's where they'll go with it.
I think. Well, they are doing a live action TV series, are they? Star Wars.
Do they confirm that that's the case?
As far as I'm aware, again, I've read it somewhere.
I thought I'd read. I thought
That would
I'd
be
read
cool.
something like that, but I couldn't be sure if that was one of those speculations.
So it would be good. I would love it if they actually took the actors from the Han Solo film and actually then did another story with, even if it was only like a 4-parter, like an hour long each. Like they do with Sherlock, where they do like 3 episodes. Something like that would be really, really cool. And to be honest, it's like I have to admit the best character and the actor, I've got his name now, in Han Solo was Lando Calrissian. Oh my god.
Childish Gambino.
It was amazing. He literally stole every single scene. I was just like, that's Lando. You don't actually
Why
see him
can't I
first, you
remember
hear him.
Isn't it Danny Glover or Daniel Glover?
Yeah, Danny. Donald Glover. Yeah.
Donald Glover, that's it.
And
Yeah,
you hear him in a casino pub, darling. Pub in Star Wars. And you know instantly that's Lando. It's not like,
Right.
oh, who's that? It's not, oh, they have to show him, oh, it's Lando. I was like, and I went, that is freaking awesome. I was like, and that's,
So
he was
that's a good
brilliant.
direction.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I love that dynamic with him, and I'd like to actually see more with with Lando Calrissian, and some of his stories and things like that. But I do think they need to start thinking outside the box with these spin-offs. Like, what happened to, like, obviously, which is no longer canon, but the Old Republic? Let's see the Jedi.
I want to know stuff like that. That stuff's more interesting.
Yeah.
Build up the lore. It's
Ancient
like with
Bane.
Bane.
I don't know if you guys have read.
Silmarillion.
I read the Bane trilogy book by Drew Carper.
No, but I'm aware of some of it.
I think his name. Unbelievable. I think that's the best trilogy of books of Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, read them because they are so dark. Because the bad guy is actually the main character, and I think if they made those into a film, it's so far away from the other films that they can do all sorts with it and make it a little bit darker, which would be really, really cool. Like if they did like Coruscant a little bit like the Blade Runner film.
Yeah.
That would be really, really cool.
That's how I would imagine it, though. Like
Yeah.
that.
I really
Also, I
watched
recommend
Blade Runner.
anyone plays Knights of the Old Republic to get a similar taste for that kind of storyline. That's a really, really great RPG with a really great story in Star
Very
Wars
good.
that I highly recommend.
I think they all about a year ago got re-released onto GOG.com as well.
think
So,
they did.
yeah, so-
And yeah. What? Because I haven't played 2 yet, but because it's about Sith Lords, that to me is like, get me on this game. I love the Sith Lords.
The
That's-
interaction
why
with all
haven't
the
you played
characters
it?
is unbelievable.
don't know. It's just because I know how long it took me to play the first one, and
Oh, right.
admittedly, one of the reasons I played it was because I got it on mobile, and so you could just sit and do that.
The second
anywhere.
one
Right.
is just as
So-
long. It's a long game, but it's really again.
Ah.
If you love the Old Republic, play that.
Okay.
Again, really, really good game. So, guys, that takes us up to the end of our topic.